one company that is transitioning to the NYSE today is Flutter Entertainment. The parent company of FanDuel debuted earlier today on the New York Stock Exchange. Now in March, shareholders will vote if the NYSE should replace the London Exchange as the primary trading platform of those shares. And joining us now from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, I'm pleased to say, we have Peter Jackson, of course, Flutter Entertainment CEO. And Peter, let's start there. What does the U.S. have that the UK doesn't necessarily?
Look, we're so excited to be able to bring Flutter Entertainment to the New York Stock Exchange this morning. It's the home of our biggest business, FanDuel, and I think for us to have access to the world's biggest capital market is something which we're very excited about.
So, Peter, is that decision, of course, pursuing a primary listing in New York, is that more about what New York has to offer, the U.S. market has to offer, versus what's going on in your home country?
Look, we feel at home here in New York. I think it's going to be a fantastic opportunity for us, subject to our shareholders approving it on the 1st of May to move our primary listing here. FanDuel is the #1 sportsbook in the United States, and we're the proud owner of that, together with all of our other fantastic brands internationally.
And why is now the time to make this potential move? Why pursue it at this moment?
For us, there are some big advantages of being listed on the New York Stock Exchange. There's earned media that you get access to, but more importantly, when I look at the volumes of trading that you see in the States, it's significantly higher than we'd see on a European exchange. And of course, that leads to companies being able to, with those higher volumes, you'll see investors being prepared to take bigger positions in a US business than they would do one in Europe. And of course, we also open ourselves up to all of those domestic investors that are based here in the United States. So it feels like the right thing for us to do.
And I hear what you're saying when it comes to where the business is, where the volumes are, of course, but I have to ask, did Brexit impact this decision at all when you think about the relevance of UK exchanges?
Look, the main reason that we've brought our listing here to the States is really those pull factors. It's the fact that we see higher levels of liquidity here on the New York Stock Exchange. It's the number of potential investors I've met who are domestic investors in America who want to invest in the business. So those pull factors are what brought us over here.
And let's talk about the process here, about what it actually takes to move that primary listing over to the U.S. You're going to ask your shareholders if they want to move the primary listing to the NYSE at your annual general meeting on May 1st. How confident are you that shareholders want this?
When we told our shareholders that we were contemplating getting a secondary listing, we were very clear that a primary listing was our sort of ultimate aim. And we had enormous support from shareholders, 99.99% at our annual general meeting last year for that shift. So I'm very confident that shareholders will be supportive of Flutter moving its primary listing at the vote on the 1st of May. And then you'll see us shift and at the end of this year, so at the end of the first half of this year, we should have our primary listing here on the NYSE.
So, Peter, you're a betting man. You know more than most that anything can happen, but certainly that seems like a done deal. I am curious, when it comes to FanDuel, would you consider eventually breaking that out as its own separate listing?
If you walk around the FanDuel offices, the number of sort of Irish and Australian accents you hear, tremendous. And for the FanDuel business, they benefit from what we describe as the Flutter edge. And this is where we have thousands of colleagues across the world who are providing support, technology and products into the FanDuel business. It's what's made us #1, and the opportunities for us to keep growing the business are tremendous. So we'll keep the business together and we'll keep going from strength to strength.
It paints a really nice scene. I like to think about the cacophony of Irish and Australian accents. It sounds pretty cool. And I want to ask you a personal question. I mean, if you do go ahead with the primary listing in the U.S., would you personally move to the United States?
Well, that's something I have to consider. I mean, I travel an awful lot, around the world, visiting all of our different markets. We just bought a business in Serbia. We're a very global international business. So, I need to go where our investors are. I need to go where our colleagues are based around the world. And that's really my focus, to keep growing our business here in the United States with FanDuel and internationally with all the long runway of growth that we see ahead of us.
So we'll keep an eye out for this one. I should just tell you the real estate market over here, it's pretty tenuous, but we'll put a bookmark on that. Let's talk a little bit about the competitive landscape, if you will, because you think sports betting in the US, and most people think either FanDuel or DraftKings, but you also have ESPN Bet, there's Fanatics as well. How do you plan to continue to compete and take market share?
Well, many years ago, we brought the concept of the same game parlay to America with FanDuel, and this was something which we developed in 2016 with our sports bet business in Australia. If I look, we're 8 years on from that, and they are still developing and pushing the product forward. And actually having the market-leading product is the most important thing for our customers. And we're convinced we have the best product. Eilers and Krejcik would confirm that. And we keep investing in growing and developing our products. And that's the best way that we can stay ahead of the market.
What does growth look like? Is that more about deepening your presence in specific sports? Or how do you think about adding new sports to the platform?
But there's two ways that we really think about it. In our international business, we continue to grow by acquiring businesses that we can invest behind, using that Flutter edge to take them on to achieve what we describe as a podium position or even a gold medal position. Here in the United States, of course, new states are opening, whether that's for sports betting or iGaming, and we want to make sure we're there ready to take advantage of that. So there's growth in different dimensions across our business, and that's one of the advantages that investors have if they choose to invest in Flutter Entertainment.
Well, Peter, focusing on U.S. sports, of course, we have the Super Bowl coming up in a couple of weeks. Hopefully, Taylor Swift will be there. We'll have to stay tuned. But post the Super Bowl, obviously that's a huge event. How do you plan to keep the momentum going?
But there's always sport happening, right? So after the Super Bowl, then really for me the question around the Super Bowl will be whether the Gronk makes or misses. Who knows what he'll do? He's been in training there, he told me this morning. Yeah, but after the Super Bowl, we get straight into March Madness, and we know how much our customers enjoy basketball, and that whole bracket is something which we know captivates America. So we go from one thing to another, and we'll be excited to provide some real excitement and entertainment for our customers after the Super Bowl too.